A big thanks goes out to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video.
All right, I think I've had enough of the wildflowers. So I come down to the beach and there is clouds over to the west, but I'm going to see if I can get some shots on the coastline here before the sun goes down. This is pretty cool. I had to move really fast because the sun keeps going behind the clouds. It actually looked better when there was a little bit of light on the rocks, but not full sunlight. What I really love is the reflection in the water here. There's a pool here and it's reflecting the dramatic clouds in the background. So I'm not including the background. The logs are a bit of an eyesore. It's too bad because there's some really great taphany underneath them. Just including the two boulders over here, and there's a really nice sand pattern at the base of it as well. So 4x3 and 65x24 pano. Yeah, really quite nice, I think. Well, good morning everybody. Another beautiful day on the east coast of Vancouver Island. I've passed this tree many times and I have tried to photograph it in the past. It's got a really cool shape and I love these old stumps covered in moss in the foreground, but I've never been able to find a decent composition. There's some lovely roots in there. One of the problems, and this is the problem with a lot of woodland photography, is the subject matter might be there, but it's just the stuff around it. It's very busy. Now this morning I did get up really early. It's, what time is it? 6 a.m. The sun has just risen, but we have clear blue skies today. So I wanted to see if I could try and get some photographs before the sun gets too high. Of course, in the forest, as soon as you get any of those specular highlights, it makes it even busier. So I'm not sure if the light's going to be great today for this type of photography, but having said that, I'm going to give it a try. it's still a good lesson in composition. And I like to do this quite often, even if the light is not good for the subject matter that you're photographing. It's still good to practice your craft and practice composition. So I am going to try and take a photograph of this. I know as soon as I get the raw file, it's going to be very cyan, quite flat, but I might be able to make something out of it, especially if I use the dehaze. I use the haze quite a bit to try and mitigate the busyness in the background. Anyway, I think I found a composition. We have this sweeping tree. There's some trees in the background that aren't cut off, and then we have this beautiful stump. So let's set up the tripod and give it a go. I think for this I'm going to, well, I'll try different formats, but I think I'm going to try square. Square seems to work quite well. There is a branch that's lying down over my left side that I don't like that much. Yeah, let's try square, maybe 4x5 as well.
Okay, now I didn't process these photographs because I'm not really that satisfied with them. I would probably just delete these, but I thought I'd use them in the video just to kind of show you what I wasn't thinking about and some of the things that I wish I had thought about. Most of the time, I'm pretty happy with the photographs that I come back with from a trip. But in this case, I wasn't really happy with any of the forest scenes that I did take. The light, as I said, wasn't really in my favor, but I think in this image especially, the composition isn't working either. One of the things that really attracted me to this scene was that beautiful mossy stump. And there's another one here, and of course this fantastic tree. I think the problem with this image is we're trying to include too much. And the stump is quite dominating. It really dominates that foreground, and it's pretty much taking away any of the nice features of this tree in the background. So I probably shouldn't have included the stump. The other thing about this is that there's a lot of debris that kind of is a bit distracting. We have this stick on the side here, and we have some debris down in the corner here. And I think things like that, you can either tone them down in Photoshop, Lightroom, just darken them so they're not as dominant, or you could just clone them out, or probably the easiest method would have just been to move them, as long as you're not disturbing, other plants and such. Like these bits of wood here, it wouldn't have hurt if I just moved them out of the way, and this one here. So just keep an eye on things like that, because I think it really does distract from the subject. Now the 4x5, this is a slightly different angle. This one works a little bit better. The problem that I have with this is that this beautiful branch here merges with the ground, so you can't really see that transition. I might be able to brighten that up and then darken the ground to give it some separation, but I just don't think it works. The foreground is a little bit better, but it doesn't really go with the background. I think the part that disturbs me the most is this central portion. There's just nothing there of interest. We have this burnt stick, but it just doesn't add to the overall feel of the photograph. The background's okay, and the tree roots and all that. So really, the actual photograph, as I look at this, is probably this section here, if anything, and maybe a bit more sky like that. That is probably the photograph, not that with the foreground. Anyway, just a couple of thoughts on my own composition. Maybe you have some thoughts of your own. If you do, please leave them in the comments down below. A big thanks goes out to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video. I've been using Squarespace for a few years now, and what I enjoy about using the platform is its elegant design templates and ease of use. With Squarespace, you can start a completely personalized website with the new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint. Choose from professionally curated layouts and styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up. Easily launch your website and get discovered fast with integrated, optimized SEO tools so you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want. Whether you sell physical goods, digital content, or services, Squarespace has the tools to start selling online. Make checkout seamless for your customers with simple but powerful payment tools. Accept credit cards, PayPal, and Apple Pay. And in eligible countries, offer customers the option to buy now and pay later with Afterpay or ClearPay. If this sounds appealing, why not head on over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the code AdamGibbs to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
All right, I've been here for a little while now, and I have taken quite a few photographs at different angles and with different lenses, and I think the problem with this, it's not really a problem, but the part that I'm having trouble with is the part that I like. And what I mean by that is these old stumps with the moss in the foreground. That's what attracted me initially to the scene. But the one directly in front of the tree with the sweeping roots and everything, I think is distracting, because the tree in itself is really lovely. Now, I did try to get in close with a wide angle, but it didn't really seem to work that well. There is a vertical, perhaps that might work okay. So what I've tried to do is move over to the side a bit. And one of the issues that I'm having is that from that angle over there, the stump just seems too central to the background. It'd be nice if it was just over to one side. And it kind of interferes with the sweep of that branch. If the stump wasn't there, it'd probably work better, because there's still the other stump on the left side there.
Well, I think this is an almost. As you can see, I did start to work on this. This is the original here. This is the raw file, and I've warmed it up considerably. What I did do was darken the stump to try and, I don't know, just try and tone it down a bit so it wasn't so dominant, but it really does interfere with that branch. Which is really quite annoying, actually. I used a bit of dehaze or haze in the background. I brightened up the stump, but I still don't think it works. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, why not just move over to the left a bit more so you can include more of that sweep? The problem is on the right side, there's the trail. So that's another distraction. So I think it was a good effort, but it doesn't quite work. Might have been better, actually, as an afterthought, is just to concentrate on perhaps this section here. That's the interest right there. Just a couple of things that I should throw in there just to kind of give you an idea of what I was thinking about when I was making this. There's a number of trees in the background, and often we forget about what's happening in the background. But in this case, I really wanted to make sure that I included the full trunk of these trees here and this one here. And I actually raised my camera so that that tree wouldn't intersect with this branch here. So there's a bit of greenery there to kind of soften it a bit. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter, because I don't think the photograph works at all just because of this blasted stump. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Again, if you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments down below. I'm happy to read them.
The woodland around here is really lovely. Mostly Douglas fir, and then there's deciduous trees thrown in for good measure. I'm trying to find something that's backlit, but I have a feeling that I'm a little bit too late. I spent too much time at the last tree. It looks lovely to the eye, but I'm just not sure if it will translate into an image. As you look behind me, there's some beautiful backlit shrubs and leaves on the trees, the deciduous trees that are mixed in with the conifers. but I'm going to have to act quick. I'm trying to find a tree that at least has a bit of character, and as I look over here, just as I said that, I saw I think it's a big leaf maple, so I'm going to have a look at that and see if I can find something over there. Wow, this is a really lovely specimen. That's a big old tree, that. So this is a big leaf maple mixed in with these Douglas fir. Now, as beautiful as it is, I'm just not sure if that's going to translate into anything. This is interesting. Looks like some kind of, I'm not sure what it is. Wiccan. There's a circle coming out, emanating from that tree, made out of sticks and branches. And then at the base of the tree, there's an awful lot of bones. I hope they're not human bones. Could be. I don't think so though. A lot of bones and things hanging off the tree there, more bones. There's a little entrance right down here. Right, well, I'm going to stay away from that because I don't know what it is and I don't want to find out. This is pretty cool. Now, I am cheating a little bit because when I was here with Alistair and our group last week, I did photograph this, but it is such a cool pattern. We have these scars in this tree, this big old arbutus tree, and the textures are just absolutely stunning. There's reds in here and oranges and blacks. There's all kinds of streaks coming through. There's even right over here, kind of purple colours. It's really neat looking. Whew, it's getting warm. I guess I could take my hat off, that might help. Well, wasn't terribly productive in terms of photography, but certainly a lovely place to wander around in. And I'll definitely be coming back on my own and with some groups this year and next year. So if you're interested in that, be sure to head on over to my website and go and check those workshops out. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, you know what to do. Smash that like button. And if you do like the content of my channel, then be sure to subscribe. All right, and until next time, bye-bye.